Map 2 here of Team Endpoint versus Ultimate aTTaX in Season 33 of the ESEA Advanced Division Upper Bracket Playoff Finals. We've got the pistol round, obviously. Here, it's Team Endpoint and Ultimate aTTaX, both playing pretty darn slow. Not looking to get all too aggressive. Looking like a B push from Ultimate aTTaX right now as the utility all comes on in. Actually going out from Scrunk as they are looking to push on forward. Thomas tries to hold the position. Unfortunately, it's going to be Cressy who takes him down. Through the smoke, Mighty Max with some good shots. Right now, Endpoint finding the frags that they really need to. Mighty Max gets shot from the side as Scrunk does try and give them a leg up on to those barrels. Some good shooting so far. Scrunk has found 2. Only needs 2 more to win the round for their team. But without the diffuser down, there's Ultimate aTTaX who are really on the back foot here. Nice tap there from Surreal to pick up the kill and pick up the round for Team Endpoint, who have a 100% win rate on the pistols so far in these matches. But unfortunately, that might just not be enough. That's map 1. Their map choice, Mirage, they did lose 16-7. Ultimate aTTaX. Now, back on a map which they should feel even more comfortable on, arguably. They have played Vertigo, sorry, not Vertigo, Overpass, very recently. Vertigo is the 3rd map, if we make it as a decider, which they've also played relatively recently. Definitely a bit of a stomping round for them. Ultimate aTTaX definitely looking to really put the pressure onto Team Endpoint. That's why we see the Deagles picked up. We saw Deagles being particularly terrifying in the hands of Endpoint. Ultimate aTTaX looking to really mimic that pressure. Team Endpoint though, playing passive. Sensibly so. Ultimate aTTaX used passivity to their advantage in map 1. Starting out very active, very aggressive, very peaky. But as the rounds went on, they slowed it down. They went for those sensible pushes, those strategically sound decisions, and actually just outpace Team Endpoint on the whole. Aggressive pushes here. Nice spray down there. There'll be Merbert falling as well. Crucial. Really putting the pressure on. The Deagle shot will find its mark. Actually, they've cleared out most of the site. One player back at Optimus. The jumping MP9 shots from Scrunk are quite enough to put an end to that. However, Mighty Max with the good spray. Bomb, however, flew all the way over to Cressy. The M4 picked up as well. This is such a good position to be in. Mighty Max with the MP9. At this closer range, I mean, hey, it's a stronger weapon. Better situation to be in. Endpoint starting off well on this CT side, being 2-0. As Ultimate aTTaX's attacks so far not really managed to break Team Endpoint. Good early frags for Scrunk here. 2 kills in each of these rounds. Let them quite a lot. Team Endpoint continuing to go for these slightly off-meta items in picking the XM. It hasn't paid off. The Mac 10 from Cressy. Doing a lot of good work there. Cressy does go low, sure. Goes to 25. Will most likely die to the next shot they take, but not exactly where you want to be. Cressy does exactly that. And waiting in the smoke, crucial. Finds the frag. Scrunk tries to get aggressive, and this time is shut down. And aTTaX's early aggression playing against them here. I'd like to see them slow down, chillax, and really make the pushes that we were seeing in the latter half of the previous game. Slacks does find one. Doesn't find another. 30 health. Won't be enough as Team Endpoint pick up the round. And leave themselves to 3-0. And this is not the start we were really expecting, honestly. Coming into this map, Ultimate aTTaX definitely looking like the stronger team after map 1. And going to their home turf here on Overpass, Team Endpoint looked a little bit shaky. I was definitely worried. However, right now, things are looking okay. Let's pick it. His first 3 rounds have already filled them full of momentum. It's only deagle buys this time for ultimate attacks. The next round will be the buy one, which Endpoint really have to look out for. But picking up a couple of rounds at the start here on the CT side always feels pretty darn good. This time, ultimate attacks not trying to get too aggressive, not pushing up, pushing through smokes with these automatic weapons. Instead, just playing back, taking down Robin and netting them a frag advantage. As Endpoint right now, making great use of that XM. I mean, they sometimes name this kind of shotgun the Street Sweeper, and I can see exactly why. As Team Endpoint have ripped apart ultimate attacks' offense here. Only one remaining player. Mirbit. Mighty Max isn't looking the right way. Oh, Mirbit. Turned at the exact wrong moment. As a result, Surreal is able to pick up the frag, and ultimate attacks now down 4 whole rounds. Ultimate attacks right now. Really need to kick it up a notch. Good spray there from Strunk. Will take down Crucial early on into this round. Surreal. Going to be mulling off towards tunnel there. Scrunk. Looking for something. And this is the ultimate attacks we really wanted to see. We wanted to see them slow things down a bit. We want to see them really get into a good position and then look for these executes. Mighty Max. Still unsure. Wants to kind of wait for anything to happen, because on this defense, you don't really need to make these points, to make these pushes or anything. It's down to attacks. And now that they've actually got rifles, Endpoint really don't want to push aggressively. We've seen them do a lot of this kind of interesting pushes, but it's not really working out. It's not going to work out specifically here. Will take down Surreal, but Robin is able to get the back up and almost actually finds Cressy there. Thomas. Still looking for a little bit more, but the mollies from ultimate attacks, at least keeping him at bay for now. Barely missing that shot there. That could have been a nice one. A couple of seconds later, would have caught Thomas, would have found the frag and put themselves in such a fantastic position. But now, with Mighty Max and Thomas closing on in, the flash does go up towards there. So Thomas is aware that someone's pushing, but that Krieg, Slax is able to find the frag onto Thomas. And now it is 1 versus 2. Mighty Max tries to cross, and Mirbit does manage to pick it on up. Ultimate attacks, able to pick up the first round in this map. And with some solid play, I mean, got caught out a lot. And it wasn't looking all too great. They got themselves into the 2v2 situation, but they managed to get that plant, which was very, very key in the way that round ended. And since that, they had the advantage of kind of being on the defense, having control of the site, and that was exactly what we want to see. A nice spray through there from Mirbit to find the damage onto Thomas. Thomas only having the CZ, though. So looking to catch people off guard, and 100 ESEA them almost instantly. Slacks. Definitely a big target for this team. Keep an eye on that player. Robin falls on back, doesn't want to get pushed too hard. Cressy managing to crouch through that. The flash just about saving them. Really nice play there from the side of attacks, but they will get clean on up. Surreal finds a couple of these frags, but it's only 2 versus 3 as ultimate attacks do find this big couple of kills, which they really needed to find. Now Thomas with the CZ is the only remaining one, and this is a pretty dire round, honestly, from Team Endpoint. What started out kind of well, Had a good position. Move it, overextends. That means you can pick up the AK. You at least... Oh, sorry, the SG. Only from Slacks will, again, kind of cover those options which Thomas would otherwise be able to really put out. But Thomas is just going to run away here. Doesn't really want to deal with any of this. And alternate attacks will pick up their second round of the map. STFN. Another one who's really been showing up. I mean, the ones that I really want to keep an eye on are Skrunk, STFN, and Slacks. As on Mirage, they were really showing up. If we see AWPs start to come out, I think especially on the defense, maybe even on the offense here, as Slacks seems to be picking it up. Slacks really turns on there. Who won the first map? That was alternate attacks menu. But yeah, alternate attacks really showing some solid game plan there. They managed to win out those duels, and the flashes and the utility used to cover their entry was really nice, actually. Very impressed. And otherwise, I think we would have seen a very, very different round. Easily would have been a couple of those players going on down. And Endpoint nearly found that round anyway. There was a lot of low health bars, so a couple of extra shots here and there really would have turned things around. Yup for Slacks. Playing very carefully. I'm interested to see that he's so far back already. That we haven't seen more of aTTaX kind of moving forward, scouting at positions so that Slacks can move on in. Because when you put this player on the AWP, when you put them in a good position, they have been known to just rip through. And we saw multiple 3K rounds from them with that AWP. So definitely expecting a little bit more from them later on into this map, and later on into this half even. I think the CT side is where they will really excel with that, but aTTaX for now. Looking for just this push onto B, and a very aggressive push it is. It's actually a 5-stack here. Mostly pistols. Robin goes down. The rifle is still in the hand of Thomas. Thomas will fall. So will 2 others. And, well, aTTaX pick up the round again. Cressy does go down in the end. Crucial does manage to find him. But alternate aTTaX with a solid push onto that B side. Endpoint now able to actually pick up a couple of rifles and that MP9 for Mighty Max. Feeling a lot better now for themselves going into this round. With that utility as well, which can be oh so key in denying a lot of the pushes that alternate aTTaX would otherwise really look for. Because they have been going for some of these more cheesy positions. And forcing through where they just don't have the utility. Surreal. That's been a player to watch. Been finding head pretty well. Often able to dispatch a lot of players from aTTaX with those Deagles skills that we were seeing from them before. With the M4 though, was able to show up quite well as well. Found a good spray down in the previous map, if I remember correctly. Mirbit. Pushed forward a lot in these rounds, so look to them if you want to see some more of this aggression. Slacks would often be a player to do a similar thing. However, with this AWP, doesn't really do it so much. Starts to rein themselves in. And I actually really think that's a good thing. I mean, obviously, moving forward aggressively with the AWP can net some highlight plays, but also net some highlight plays for the enemy team. Definitely not the greatest way to go about things. Cressy and STFN moving here into water. Need to push it on up. Slacks. Putting the mollies into place, and here's that utility. The mollies forcing aTTaX forward. But Mighty Max is the one who's going to get sprayed down. Surreal still holding well in the tunnel. Thomas behind pillar finds a 2K. That'll be me 3. Finds a bit of damage as well, but doesn't quite finish off Slacks. I think Slacks is going to head off, and solid round from Team Endpoint. Holding strong, using that utility to push them aggressively onto site, and then catching them in the act. Now, that was actually really nice from Team Endpoint on a couple of levels. I really liked that they were able to actually rotate to B very quickly there and had the players inside. These are some fantastic bloody mollies. Really doing the work on TSTF in there. And denying a lot of the setup. So that means that you can see a lot of Endpoint moving up into some more aggressive positions. Not playing back at Optimus, not sitting on site, more looking towards public toilets. Skrunk. Looking for something that's utilitarian. Looking to kind of move on. Find the early frags is what we've been seeing mostly from them. I mean, Mibbit has been jumping in with Mac 10s a whole map long, but it's been Skrunk who's doing a lot of the nice fragging with the rifles as we move on in, really opening properly rather than going for some of the cheap plays. Mibbit's going to put that smoke on in there, and from that should allow attacks a little bit more freedom on the map. I think that's why we're seeing Slacks getting so aggressive, pushing so far up with that AWP. Not able to find anything yet. No one's heads are in the skyline quite yet. Smoke doing a lot to split them on up. Mirbit pushes too far aggressively, and that'll lead to 3-4 members of attacks going down almost instantaneously. Skrunk, though, on this big flank, finds the frag onto Thomas. And while he doesn't have bomb, he's going to head back towards it. Did at least take some control of the A site. Finally moving on through here. Crucial does not find the AWP shot. Tries to get aggressive onto the AWP as he hits the shot off, but teamwork from Surreal will net them that round. And Team Endpoint looking like it could be going to that third map. Sure, we're only 10 rounds in, but having a much better showing here than they did on their own map of Mirage. And maybe that's why they let it go through. Maybe they feel particularly comfortable here on Overpass. Not something we would have expected, but hey, why not? So, if you ask me, I want to see some more of these shotties sitting in Connector. I was really impressed by the XM play earlier on in this map. I mean, it's a bit cheesy, but hey, who doesn't love a little bit of cheese? Here, as we see Robin getting pushed. Finds the frag onto Skrunk. Finds Slacks as well, but doesn't find that third. Crucial, however, will back him up, find that frag. The M4 does, however, move into Mirbit's hands. Thomas overextending a little bit there and will go down as well. Cressy. Shot. Nice one there. We'll net them that. Yeah, but just backing off. Knows that pushing here would be deadly. Picking up the rifles and heading home for the day. Forcing utility to be kind of expended by Endpoint. Don't think we'll expect to see Mib actually go for this. I think it'd be very greedy play. And that's exactly why. The AWP of Crucial remains strong on the A site and nets them around. Ultimate Attacks did not need to push aggressively there. Guess they could still fall by regardless, but might have been nice to save a little bit of money. Maybe you could have picked up an AWP for Slacks if you did so. Would have been good. What was the first map? Attacks. If you type in exclamation mark maps, you can see the next map, this map, obviously, and the result of the previous one. A lot of utility being used early again towards water, as expected. Good HE will give some information. Mirbit pushes up aggressively anyway. The flash means that they will get that position. A nice spray on through from Surreal will net a double kill. Cressy tries to move too far forward, but the spray through will actually take down two. As Slacks, with these scoped weapons, certainly is a bit of a threat. And Endpoint with a good start. Now only one player up. I mean, still one player up, and still they have control of the sites. There's 1 minute left on the clock, and a decent amount of utility left on Crucial. Very good position, especially when Mirbit just walks out into Thomas's crosshair like that, but aTTaX most likely gonna back off here. Slacks with that SG. Gonna try and save it. Slacks is still hanging around. I think he's looking to see if he can get any kind of frag. He hasn't heard anyone move, so I don't know what he's looking for, but big mistakes. 2 players still remaining on that B site. Team Endpoint will pick up the round pretty handily as well. Solid performance on the whole from Endpoint here after, again, a lackluster map 1 on Mirage for them. This half looking a lot better, like they found their footing. Looking to stage a comeback as we move through this overpass map. And the next map, being Vertigo, doesn't sound particularly great for them. But again, this map isn't their map either. And this is a map, again, alternate attacks are able to find a lot of success on usually. This one doesn't seem to be working out so well for them. The CT side of Endpoint is particularly strong. Nice spray down there from Thomas as he finds the 2K. Aggressive push from Surreal, finds the bomb before it goes down, and now in this position is able to find that a little bit more. Surreal will fall, but Mirbit is the only remaining member, and they will have to head on out. Looking to come back around for a little bit more, but Robin is watching the angle. The spray does come on through. Mirbit will find the frag, but it goes down to 7 HP, and this time, well, they're not coming back. 9-3 for Endpoint here, with the bomb down in their possession. I'm interested to see how alternate attacks are going to really kick into gear, because right now things are looking pretty terrible for them, honestly. People even said in chat 12-3. I mean, I don't know. I think alternate attacks will probably pick up at least another round this half. I think that's pretty reasonable. Because they have been a solid team, and they have been picking up rounds. And oftentimes, Endpoint will get those frags early. And then get traded back for alternate attacks. But it's the kind of end of those rounds that are the really big deciders. And right now, Endpoint just seem to be able to clutch it out that little bit better. I do agree. I was surprised he saved both Mac and Armor. I would have thought you would have just gone in for that. And, gone absolutely mental. I think a pause coming in from here, strategy pause for alternate attacks, makes a lot of sense. They're kind of getting rocked right now, so they need to kind of chill, sit down, go, hey, how are we buying up for the next couple of rounds? What are we going to do? We've got some pretty whack numbers. I mean, Cressy should actually be able to buy up because he's already bought full armor, so he should be able to pick up that rifle. So everyone can do it. I feel like it's probably the best idea to do it. The question is how they're going to really get their heads back into the game, as I was trying to say before. Whether they can properly kind of reset, set up properly for the CT side. And it is their map. They should be pretty happy with playing the CT side of this map. It's not too bad, and, they have had pretty impressive performances here. So definitely not terrible for them. Alternate attacks are definitely down in this map, but I don't think they're quite out. I think there's definitely a real world where alternate attacks go onto the CT side, are just go on a tear, and Endpoint are not really able to get in the same way. And we saw that. We saw Endpoint get really shut out after hitting 7 rounds. I think Overpass is not too terrible for Endpoint, but I think Vertigo is the kind of really shaky one that it got to the end of the ban phase and it was kind of like, well, we have to go with Vertigo. And alternate attacks are like, yeah, we do. Pretty happy with that in general. I think that's going to be a big deal. I think you really need to see Endpoint come out swinging in that map, take the momentum early, and really destroy in those early gunfights. I mean, right now, Endpoint have 100% pistol win rate, so it's pretty good. I think... Yeah. I have seen that, like, Endpoint aren't too bad on Vertigo, but aTTaX's records are pretty darn good on that, so... I'm skeptical, to say the least, but... I mean, I was skeptical of how things would look after that Mirage game, and right now, Endpoint proved me very much wrong. So, I'm excited to see how this is going to go. I had written it off a little bit, but definitely changed my opinion now. The smoke's doing a lot to manage visibility. Keeping these members of Endpoint stuck here. While the real frags go on to the side. STFN finds a 2K. Make it a 3 as Robin tries to find that duel, but Ultimate aTTaX with a huge advantage right now. They have site control, they have these smokes down. Not in a great position. Molly goes back. Is going to get a lot of damage here onto Slacks, but they will manage to get the bomb down. Just about. Slacks is low though. 20 HP. Easily die to a single shot. Right, Max trying to get this pre-fires down. Slacks still on that AWP. Looking to really put the pressure down. Flashes buying time. Every single piece of utility does work for Ultimate aTTaX. They do pick up this round, moving it 5-9. Sorry, 4 to 9. I can't even read today. But yeah. And that's what I was saying. I really do expect Ultimate aTTaX to pick up rounds. They're a strong team. I don't think we're going to be seeing the half end as such. Endpoint. Still very much in a buy. If they lose this though, could be looking at a 6 to 9 half, which is what they actually ended the previous map on. Down those couple of rounds. But Endpoint here, really making a statement with a strong CT half. Who will map one? aTTaX will map one. Sonaldo. A bit. Looking again for this aggression. My Max takes a little bit of damage, but not going to find too much. A bit worried about the push through tunnel there. It doesn't come. The orb shot from Crucial just not misses. Slacks doesn't find the kill either, but STFN pushes up way too aggressively, gets punished for it. Robin gets sprayed through the smoke, but Skunk won't actually find the kill. Looking the wrong way, Cressy, and the same can be said. Slacks caught sleeping. Maybe we'll find Surreal, sure, but it's 3 versus 3. Robin half health with a 3K. I'm pretty sure that's a trade-off he's happy to make pretty much every single time. Diffuser going down for Skunk, but Thomas trying to peek up at that top and get the frag. Does manage to finish him off, but the bomb gets planted. Mirbit falls, and Endpoint managing to net that out 10-4. This half. Solid play there from Robin. 4K, netting their team that round, picking up the AWP, and really setting them up for this final round. A buy will be in order though for Ultimate aTTaX. They have more than enough money to put the food on the table. AKs and SGs and AWPs all around. A little bit of a lack of utility on STFN and on Slacks, but aTTaX should still be set. It's going to be difficult looking into these later parts of the round when they're looking to expend this utility. If we see a kind of counter utility usage from Endpoint, it could spell doom from aTTaX. It's whether aTTaX really let them get into that position. Maybe it takes a bit of damage as the HE goes on through. Thomas still waiting there in public toilets. STFN. Really looking towards this player when it comes to rifling. Been very impressed with them on the whole. Them and Slacks, who's been an absolute monster with that AWP. Don't want to push out too aggressively into this man. Sees Robin. The shots ring out 15 HP. A single, one more, and Slacks would have been the dead one instead, but Manages to drop down. Get that orb shot out. Now, alternate attacks up a player. Could be looking to take things within 5 rounds. Flashes drop on in. They're looking to push out tunnel. Getting information. STFN. Leads to Jolted Thomas though. Followed by their Scrunk. Going to drop that smoke on out. Continuing to set up as they look for that big rotate. And I think the information Crucial gets there from that jump out is so important. Now Endpoint know that something's going on this other side. They're going to rotate as quickly as they possibly can. This utility does still come on a little bit. With only 7 seconds on the clock, you have to make so much happen. And they just didn't have the time. Mirbit tries to get aggressive. Even finds the frags onto 2 members. Take down all but Crucial there. But it just isn't quite enough as Endpoint move themselves 11-4. Solid play on the whole. Endpoint move themselves to 7 rounds advantage. We're going to go to a quick intermission if players are going to be having a quick break over the halves. Still of the second half of this map. I mean, this has been Endpoint's wheelhouse so far. They haven't dropped a pistol round so far in this series. I mean, first map still didn't net them any victories, but finding a pistol, always important, allows you to set the tempo and take control of the map. The economic advantage it gives is ever so important, and on this T side, you can be a little bit more lenient with your economy, but still, Endpoint need to really put themselves into gear. It's not the end of the world if they don't win this. They're still up 7 rounds. Like, it's not the end of the world, but they win it. Things looking pretty darn good for them. They could just win off of that. Mighty Max is rotating on round. Surreal looking for this jump, looking for this information. Cressy getting an early frag. That's exactly what you want to see. Alternate attacks with some good shots early on here. The utility from Mighty Max is coming on out. The flash goes on in. The flash number 2 also hits the board. Slacks will go down. Some good play there. Good pistoling from Cressy, as he has found 2 so far in this half. Looking to try another 3 frags, and it's Mighty Max versus 2. Cressy, however, will not finish off. It's Mirbit from behind. Alternate attacks win the pistol here and take the award away for best pistol rounds from Endpoint. I mean, you say that hard, we know, but Endpoint have won every pistol other than this. Like, you know. I appreciate that you might not consider them to be good, but they've been pretty good in this series so far. They matched up. 16-8, is that your imagination? Yeah. So is that what you think? I think that sounds pretty reasonable, actually. I think alternate attack will definitely pick up a couple of rounds. I don't think it's going to be anywhere near 16-5, but especially with this advantage of winning pistol, attacks should be able to pick up actually quite a few. I think we're looking more at like 12, 16, purely because I think attacks on this CT side have been really impressive. They're really impressive on Mirage. It's a good map for them. Winning pistol puts them really good place economically. They went for a lot of SMGs, which means if they get these frags in this round, if they win out this round, it's going to be so huge for them. Surreal is the first one to fall. The pistols from Scrunk do so much work, but Endpoint are onto the site. It's 1 versus 3, and it's not one for very long. Alternate attacks, really solid round, and a lot of money on their way. Guys, there is no song request. I don't know what you're expecting when you type song request like 6 times. Also, there's no music on right now. I'd love to sing for you, but I assume the music that you listen to is mostly electronic because you're gamers. Cressy. Good couple of spray downs there. This time, the aggression pays off. Cressy. Oftentimes getting very gung-ho. And that's what we see there. Standing out in the open, waiting for the drop. It doesn't win out. Finds a lot of damage, sure. But with 26 health, surprising that he was already going for that. It is now 3 versus 4. But with rifles in hand, Endpoint are definitely in with a shot. Mirbit still watching. The rest of Endpoint are already on their way towards A. Slacks. Just going to drop that smoke and back on off. Doesn't want to push too far. Robin with a nade that doesn't quite land. But here's where the utility's being used. He's waiting for a rotate. It's likely Endpoint might go for one. And if they execute on the site, Muppet's in there, quick as a flash. 30 seconds on the clock. Endpoint really don't have much choice at the moment. Smoke towards the stairs. Slacks doesn't win out on that second duel, however. The bomb in hand, they're going to be planting. The backup needs to come. Someone on the rotate. STFN is there. The smokes are in good position. Mibit looking to use that wall, get close to it to win out. Take those the short range fights. That's so critical for them. Crucial with the SG. Peeks on out through the other edge of the smoke. STFN finds that frag and alternate attacks. Pick up that round. Solid work from alternate attacks and messing around a little bit with the bomb, but they will be picking that one up. 6 to 11 here. 7, sorry. Now, I cannot do these round numbers today, but alternate attacks picking up a lot off of that initial pistol. Really solid work actually, and Endpoint getting caught out on a couple of these situations. Shouldn't have really lost those 2 players early in connector. That feels pretty terrible for them. But Cressy with these kind of very dynamic plays is often catching players off guard. And we saw that at the start of map 1, and we've seen that here on Overpass. Towards the end, Endpoint were kind of straightening things out, and alternate attacks have taken a lot more of a slow-paced style, but here, things look a lot better for them. Alternate attacks are able to kind of flex that ingenuity out, as Cressy did lead them to the win in the last round. Endpoint with these guns, yeah, bought up a little bit. Well, they bought up on most people. MyMax is the only one who didn't pick up that AK. Robin starting to push on forward. Tax. Alright, good spot. They're going to be intercepting as they try and push up. Cressy takes a bit of damage, but it's going to be Slacks who finds the first shot. Thomas goes down, and Endpoint uses opportunity to move on into the site. Robin falls to the farmhouse. Skrunk finds a second. Now, while he does go down to Mighty Max, Mighty Max finds 2, looking for that third, finds 3, but the 4th. Slacks is so darn low right now. The flash comes on in. Slacks is still looking for it. Turns away for a second. Mighty Max goes to literally 1. The wallbang is there, and STFN does find the frag. And alternate attacks picking up that round with the skin of their teeth. Slacks going exceedingly low. The same happening to Mighty Max. And Mighty Max almost finding that big 4K to put them in such a good position. Wouldn't be able to reset. Wouldn't be able to fall back. And then properly hold that site in the post-plant situation. Attacks right now have basically won, I believe, 5 rounds in a row. It doesn't tell you because it doesn't. But that's 5 rounds in a row. Who is winning? Well, up 1 map is alternate attacks. Endpoint are up in rounds in this half. But alternate attacks are a very solid team. Endpoint right now really showing up on Overpass. So I'm excited to see whether Endpoint can be able to close this out or not. It's hard to tell who's going to win this, honestly. I think we're going to go to 3 maps, and I think it's anybody's game, honestly. I have a slight favour in terms of attacks, because I think they're a little bit better on Vertigo, but Endpoint have been proving me wrong today. Smoke comes on in, the flash from from Scrunk will lead to a dead Thomas. Max readying that smoke for the rest of the team to push on in. On the flank, Slacks and Cressy looking for an opportunity to get aggressive. You see the rotate. You see that Mighty Max. Crucial is pushing on through. Oh, Robin almost goes down. Slacks manages to take down his own teammate, but Robin also falls to him. That bomb carrier is down. They're pushing onto the site. There's someone right behind them. Scrunk is trying to hold strong here, but right now he's under a lot of pressure. Nibbit doing a great job. The HE and the flash come in. Crucial, however, makes short work of them. Surreal on 8 HP, but the plant is nowhere to be seen. Slacks still has control of this bomb. You need to respect that. Crucial. Right through birthday. 1 second on the clock, and Endpoint did not have the time to make those moves. Getting caught out there. And alternate attacks are brought in within 2 rounds. This is 6-round streak for alternate attacks right now. They are on a tear. Team Endpoint have not been able to put up the rounds on this T side. Not a good position to be in. I think a timeout might be in order, honestly. I want to get something going here. A lot of utility expended. It might be first of all, even with all that utility. They cleared out so many ways. They do get the refrag, however, and they'll be able to pick up that M4. Which could be oh so key when they're going to be attacking this site. They won't actually, sorry, the Molly is able to do enough. Alternate attacks. Still heavy on utility on Slacks. A little bit on Scrunk and Cressy. Should be able to keep Endpoint at bay, at least for now. With a minute on the clock, they're really looking to eat through their time bank. Zero's going to put that utility out. I think they're just going to go for this. However, that is not a good way to go for anything. 2 members mown down. Make that a 3rd. Robin falls, and it's only Surreal left. The AK in hand, sure, but 1 versus 3. It's been done before, but it won't be done this time as alternate attacks move 10 to 11. This could be the big comeback, and down from 3. 7 rounds in a row. Alternate attacks on this CT side looking pristine right now. You're back in the hands of Slacks. Has done a fantastic job. Surreal. Has been doing work with that Deagle, but it's the only one on his team without a rifle. Maybe. Space on 3. Throws a little bit of damage onto Mighty Max. They know that someone's in connector. Doesn't give you too much information in terms of where they're going to be coming from. Flash messed up a little bit there. Alternate attacks. Continuing to play particularly slow. Endpoint. Have to make something happen. Because right now, alternate attacks currently just really have control of just the pace of the game. Slacks has been particularly still. 18 and 12. Even as their team is only just catching up in terms of rounds. Shots trying to go through. Oh, the boost there from Slacks. Almost nets something. It's Thomas who goes down to Scrunk through the smoke. Pushing on through. Cressy goes down to 1. Scrunk is waiting in the smoke. Catches Surreal off guard. Really nice play there. You do see Cressy going down finally. 1 HP. Won't keep them alive for very long, but they at least managed to trade themselves out. And now, Endpoint down 2 players. 4 versus 2. 7 seconds on the clock, and this has just been what we've seen from them. They're not going to be able to get the plant down. Not going to be able to get anything, as the scores are now even Stevens. Alternate attacks. Making a comeback and a half. down from the half where we were looking at 11-4, I believe. Yeah, it was 11-4. Now we got 7 rounds difference. Just made up in that many straight rounds. Endpoint looking lackluster on this T side. They're really gonna have to kink things up a notch if they want to win out here. Take us to that third and final map of Vertigo. Robin. Putting this utility up in the sky for their team to push on forward, but Slacks finds that opening pick, finds the second pick. Will he be able to bring us more? Finds the third. Doesn't quite find the fourth. It's going to be Mibbit who picks that up. Cressy will finish off my aTTaX. And, I mean, Team Endpoint now down a round. Map was tied up. And it's looking like it might just be handed as a gift to alternate attacks, as Team Endpoint have been oh so struggling. They're picking up rifles now, but it cannot be overstated how much they need to win this round. Not only because it puts them in a good position economically, it puts them in a good position in terms of, like, that is a beautiful boost. Doesn't quite find the kill, unfortunately, onto Skrunk. That's a strat and a half, you know? Team Endpoint really went for it. Zreal has to back on off the aggression from Mirbit here. Doing a hell of a lot in denying Endpoint all this pushing. I mean, they just drop on down, and Mirbit very much ready for it. The smoke comes on in. Mirbit will continue to play that position. Maybe even go for the big flank. aTTaX not able to find the kill onto Slacks, and they found a couple of players this time where Endpoint have nearly taken them down, but it's ended so badly for them. They're down 3 players. aTTaX is half health. Utility aplenty for attacks. It just all looks so bad for them. This is going to be most likely 13-11 unless Crucial has a bit of a field day. Manages to find the frag actually through the flash. Looked like he flicked up a little bit too much, but does actually find it. Crucial. 1 versus 4 with the AWP. Finds Slacks. The Shadow gave him away, however, and that will be alternate attacks. Moving up 13-11. Endpoint can buy, though. Endpoint can buy. The loss bonus keeping them in economically. Alternate attacks very much in control. Cressy is the only one who wouldn't be able to buy up. I think, yeah, wouldn't be able to buy up in the next round, but they have a lot of money they can drop for him. So much to work with right now on alternate attacks. Some aggressive pushes. Looking like a B push from Endpoint, but they're making sure they don't get caught out. Mirbit pushes way too far forward. aTTaX will find it. The molly goes down the smoke. Cover. The flash comes in. STFN has to turn away, but STFN and still find those frags. Thomas gets 1. It's now 3 versus 3, but so little health on the side of Endpoint. They make do. They capitalize on Skrunk's lack as well, and now 100 and 100 health on attacks versus a smattering of health points from Team Endpoint. 3 players still up though, and site control. Endpoint might be able to put a damper on aTTaX's reign of terror, as it currently is. Shot there, Cressy does go down. They know exactly where Slacks is, and it doesn't matter if you have the AWP. It doesn't matter whether your opponent is on 5 health, 8 health, or 71 health. They're all going to die. But it wasn't enough. Slacks just couldn't peek. Was caught out. And Endpoint pick up a round. Narrowing the gap. Just oh so close. Alternate attacks performed admirably to get themselves back into this game after the stomp of the first half that Endpoint were able to put up. But the CT half has been more dominant, if nothing, from alternate attacks. This is the first round they dropped here, around 11 of the half. Sorry, around 10 of the half. Real. solid spray through there. Gets Mibit. Manages to take down STFN as well. Spray through the walls. Skrunk. Rotating around a little bit, but alternate attacks. Down 2 players. All due to the efforts of Real here. 50 seconds on the clock. Endpoint definitely need to start to be thinking about moving on in. Cressy is on this huge flank. Don't think he gets spots out. There's one player on rotator. Surreal comes up, and the covering fire was there from Thomas as he rotates that one out. Good frag from Slacks. Fantastic frag from Slacks there as he finds another. I mean, now it's 2 versus 3. Started off so bad, and with Slacks and Skrunk finding these shots, things look a lot less bad. Skrunk versus Thomas will be the final one here, and alternate attacks with themselves 14 to 12. It's looking bad. Old Endpoint started off so darn well. In the end, it might just not be enough. As alternate attacks, even after the round damper, the Endpoint managed to put them on. It just isn't enough. Mibit will have to pick up an MP9. It will be all rifles all the time for Endpoint here. $0 on Crucial. Will be a relevant point if they lose out on this round. Or even if they win and he goes down. You have to be careful. Shots towards them. Skrunk playing that position where we saw the boost shot towards. Probably keeping an eye out on it early on into this round. Nice spray through the smoke there, Thomas. Still not going to kill. Keeping things in favour of Endpoint. Fantastic nade there from Cressy. To basically half health Surreal. Endpoint. With the man advantage, should be able to push us. Alternate attacks are definitely worried right now. They're in the lead, but you saw how things... Oh yeah, things could easily go bad again. Thomas hopping back through that tunnel. Full flashes in. Robin will deal with Mibit. Almost took that Skrunk there. Managing to spray does go down 1 for 1 though. Slacks takes down Surreal. It is 1 versus 2, and it Slacks with the AWP. Looks like it's going to be a save. Endpoint do get a good round in. 13 to 14. Endpoint keeping themselves in with a fighting chance. This is definitely a big one. It is 14-13, but I was putting Endpoint first because they were the team I was talking about. And Slacks, you can see again some fantastic AWPing in this map, akin to what we were seeing in the first one. 26 frags for Slacks here, and only 16 deaths. Really, that big star AWPer of the team, especially on the CT halves, where it can really come alive. And that's kind of what I was expecting. I was expecting to see more Slacks on the CT side, and well, I haven't been disappointed. Slacks has been pretty darn important on this comeback tour of alternate attacks. A ramshackle buy for alternate attacks though. Around this AWP for Slacks, it's going to be down to them to really make the big things happen here. As right now, you lose this round, sure it goes 14-14, but you have no money in the bank. You are not in a good spot. Endpoint will be able to buy up regardless. Sorry, won't be able to buy up. But it is the crucial round because the economy determines that basically everything is down to this. Endpoint off with a fantastic start. Surreal down low, but the defuse, sorry, the bomb plant is going to happen. Mighty Max is not interrupted. Alternate attacks, absolutely aware of this. They might save the AWP. That's basically going to be it. Wow. STFN barely survives that. They're going to pick up this rifle and save the AWP. alongside a couple of other weapons, looking to fight another day rather than try and contest this and go on awkwardly. Thomas. It's been a similarly large fragger. Just tab on through. You can see both Thomas and Robin putting up those 24 kills. Very important part of their team. Definitely putting in the numbers, and I've been impressed across the board with both teams just having these fantastic shots going on and really kicking things up a notch when we hit those really important rounds. Thomas. Gonna help with this boost again. Doesn't look like they found anything. There's no one actually up there, if I believe correctly, from what I can see from the map. It's actually aTTaX with a totem pole of their own. A lot of time wasted, though. Endpoint on this map. I've been struggling for time, honestly. So when they're on this T side, things have been hard. Maybe. Put some of that utility out, and alternate attacks are able to definitely put a damper on some of the things Endpoint are going to throw their way, but it's a big B stack right now. I think attacks have kind of cottoned on. That might not exactly be what we're saying. I think that's why maybe it's rotating ever so quickly. Cressy is the only one on that A site as of current. And they have a UMP, which is not exactly the best tool to defend with. Flashes managed to be dodged. Cressy waiting in the smoke. The smoke will clear, and Cressy will fall. Far too overextended. Alternate attacks. You know what's happening. They start to rotate. Spray comes on in. Thomas finds two. 2 versus 4. The bomb is going down. 9 seconds on the clock. Now, alternate attacks. Again, going, right, we're just going to save. We're just going to save. They cannot win this 2v4. At least they don't feel like it. And Endpoint moving themselves up to 15-15. We might just see an overtime here. I think alternate attacks definitely have it within them to bring it to 15-15, but Endpoint right now, we're seeing glimpses of the first half of this map. Good spray from aTTaX. STFN does actually find that kill, but neither the AWPer nor the Rifler going to go down, and this means that alternate attacks still have stuff on lock. They can build up around this. They can force into some of these rifles. Scrunk, I don't know what they're going to be picking up, but probably a CC. No, going to be the FAMAS. It was a drop. As this is one of the last rounds we're looking at. aTTaX definitely down to the wire here on their own map. After Endpoint were able to lose their one. On the movements, Thomas doesn't quite peek out. In fact, waits for the shot before doing absolutely anything. Does not want to mess with that orb. We've seen how deadly it can be. Crucial. Has been on his own. The XM for Cressy. Almost finds them 3. The pistol comes on in. The headshots will keep him down for the count, but some solid play from alternate attacks, and now putting them in a pretty solid chance of winning out this map. Winning out this round is the first part, and going to that overtime could be it. The shotgun has wrought havoc time and time again. Endpoint used it, now alternate attacks have used it, and the connected position is oh so deadly. Scrunk will fall. And Endpoint are looking to push on into sight. But smokes, the flashes. Everything is in place. The AWP from Slacks is oh so deadly. Finds a 2K. And now it is 3 versus 1. Slacks, sure, will fall. But 20 seconds left on the clock. The bomb is picked up by Robin. He's just going to go for this plant now. Endpoint. I'm not sure as to where he is. The spray comes on in. Doesn't manage to find the second. STFN finishes the frag, finishes the round, and takes us all the way to overtime. Not what anyone was expecting coming in to either the first or the second half. This match has been a wild ride so far. Map 1 made it look like this was going to be a free series for aTTaX. But Endpoint, with that first half, showing that they absolutely know what they're doing here on Overpass. Both teams showing up on each other's maps. And we might just be going to Overpass here. Endpoint in this overtime. Getting on into that overtime, I do believe. As we see the buy up coming from both sides. Slacks back on the AWP. CT side. Definitely the preferred one for both teams, as they have shown time and time again on this map. Robin takes a bit of damage from the HE. Has to be kind of careful. Cressy. Putting pressure on forward. Flashes come on in, but aTTaX just using them to really slow down the pace of the match. Max. With those HEs. Doesn't really find all too much. In fact, the Molly will be the one to deal the damage here. Flash coming in. Surreal. Clearing out connector. Alternate attacks. In control right now. They are on the CT side. Molly's come in towards public toilets. Endpoint trying to cut a lot of the aggressive pushes that alternate attacks have been throwing out in the early rounds, but 45 seconds on the clock. I mean, coming down to Endpoint to kick things up a notch as they move on into the B side. They have a little bit of utility left. It's all going to be expended here in this final push. Molly comes on out from STFN. A fantastic Molly it is. It's going to keep Endpoint honest. There's so little time left. aTTaX know. They have to know that this is exactly where the push is going to come in. STFN goes down. Surreal finds the early frag. Max doesn't find the kill quite. But the CT side are losing a couple of players. They managed to get those refrags. It's 3 versus 3. Surreal and Robin fall. Crucial is the last remaining member. Cressy keeping an eye out with the AWP. Crucial is going to struggle to really have an impact here. 2 seconds on the clock, and he's just going to have to run away. Solid play from aTTaX as they net that first round on the overtime CT side. Max with some interesting plays so far. Definitely needs to step up a little bit if their team could put this down. Not too much on the frags. Has made some very nice eco stuff happen, but with these rifles, you want to see him step up. Robin, go for this utility out. The AWP in the hands of Crucial. Could be the big deal breaker. Looking like a run boost. Run boost. Out towards A line. Nice shot there from Crucial. With Slacks down early, alternate attacks are gutted. Cressy will go down as well. Endpoint open up that A site almost instantaneously. Flashes coming both ways. Nice shot there from STFN. If he can fill the void that is left by the lack of Slacks, that could be exactly all they need. Sprunk sees Thomas through that smoke, and what a brilliant frag that is. Keeping things even. aTTaX will not go down without a fight, and Team Endpoint are in for the long haul here on overtime. Things going back and forth as they really have been. Airbit gets the frag on the Mighty Max as he falls on back, and then with the diffuser down, aTTaX might be picking this up 17 to 15. The HE Doesn't give away where Crucial is now, but they must have an idea. There's not many other places they could be. 9 seconds on the clock. They can't really get anything crucial. Jumping out. Jumping around. Gets sprayed. Surreal will get the refrag, but alternate attacks. Up 2 rounds, and Endpoint with little to no time left in a lot of these situations need to play that a little bit faster. Double AWP now for attacks. Going back to that strategy that we were seeing on Mirage. Good molly. Or force smoke. Flashes coming on out from Endpoint to keep themselves safe as they move on through those smokes, so they put them down themselves. Otherwise, attacks might look for something a little bit cheeky. Ooh, Slacks doesn't quite find the shot there, but it was pretty darn close. Crucial finds the shots there. In both of these rounds, last 2, Slacks has gone down, but it hasn't been enough. They have the bomb. Endpoint have control of where they want to go. There's a minute still left on the clock. A lot of rotate towards this A site. Alternate attacks expecting the pushers, expecting Endpoint to stick with this site, but Endpoint doing exactly that right now. 45 seconds on the clock. Endpoint moving in a lot earlier this time, but this gambit that was made by attacks will be exceedingly positive. They will finally lose Scrunk, as it is 3 versus 4 now for attacks, using this opportunity to push on up, but some good play from Thomas will keep things going. Is STFN versus 4. Finds the first one. If he's feeling himself, he can definitely go for this. STFN is one hell of a fragger. However, up against 3 players, it's certainly respectable that he went for a try. Sides swap, and now Endpoint on the CT side, looking to pick up 2 to 1. They picked up a T round. They picked up a couple. CT route 3 rounds is pretty doable for Endpoint here. Go back into live as Endpoint looking to get 3 here to win. They do. They have the match in the bag. Endpoint will have to have this site on pretty lock, but they've been able to do that so far. They had a really solid CT side, so Endpoint. Scrunk gonna flash themselves on through and just move through tunnel there. The smokes come on in as they push on up. Mighty Max will fall. Thomas goes down 2. This is looking so bad for Endpoint. The pushes that should be theirs. Surreal hiding behind sandbags here. Pushes on out. Scrunk in such a nice position right now. The HE's going towards them, the flashes as well. 2 remaining players of Team Endpoint stuck, unable to make a move of any meaning at the current moment. Attacks. Slacks turned away the last session. That means they don't manage to net Crucial, but they're still in good position. They're still on the site. Maybe it's still putting pressure on from outside, and alternate attacks. Picking up a T round here would be so important. It means they can't lose out here. And, you know, Robin finding a couple of frags. Strong, but alternate attacks will pick it up. This is it now. Alternate attacks pick this one up. This will be the series. This will be the map. This will be everything. And Team Endpoint will be pushed down to that lower bracket. CT side, definitely the stronger one. Endpoint have it in them, I know. Need for that a little bit more. Mighty Max. Looking for that information at the top. But isn't able to find anything yet. A lot of players in connected. Aggressive pushing from Robin. We'll get them a lot here. Again, Slack's falling early, but apparently that hasn't even been enough, honestly. Something that would have been completely key in prior rounds has just not been enough. The Molotov finishing off crucial, and with a couple of frags from aTTaX. The bomb plant goes down on A. Endpoint have to hard rotate on over. This could be so hard. I mean, honestly, aTTaX might just pick up the map here. Cressy is low. And the two remaining members aren't in great positions. Mighty Max does find the frag, but finding this defuse is going to be easier said than done. Smoke comes on out. 3 seconds. We'll be able to try and get the defuse. Surreal is holding strong, and that'll be Endpoint picking up the round. All alternate attacks need to do is win one more round here. Otherwise, we'll be going to that next part of overtime. Endpoint with some solid performance to pick up that one. It looked like it could have been really shaky, but the defuse there, the smoke, the utility still at control is more than enough to keep them that round. STFM pushing aggressively again. Many players of alternate attack looking to try and make something happen with their bodies, but it's just not been enough. Some good shots from Endpoint will put a stop to that. Alternate attacks definitely can still win this. We've seen them come back from a player deficit many a time. Endpoint have been the masters of these opening gambits, but alternate attacks seemingly always end out on top. Endpoint are going to have to kick it into gear if they're going to win this one. Skunk looking for that peek. Can't find anything. Flash goes on out. Tries to make the corner. No one's there. Alternate attacks. Didn't lock that utility now onto the A site. Endpoint. Still not ready to rotate it up. Those two players from B. Utility expended here, and with 15 seconds left on the clock, Endpoint will be able to even it on up. Surreal with the big 3k and keeping themselves in the match for now. We're going to be going to overtime again. I believe people will be readying up in just a second. We'll stick. We won't go to that intermission. Endpoint back on the CT side. Side where they should have that big dominance. Looking to put at least 2 rounds on the board. If they pick up that third, it'd be oh so sweet for them. Mighty Max trying to use that utility, find that bit of information. Takes down Slacks. Again, Slacks falling way too early on into this round. And into many others as well. It could have been pretty doomed attacks in these recent couple. Smoke forced out from Mirbet. Robin. Shots there. Takes down the bomb holder. Cressy will get the refrag, but it's 3 versus 4. Not a lot of health left on Cressy. T-round point. Almost certainly have the advantage here. Thomas back at Optimus. Will get sprayed down. Cressy finds a frag, Mirbit finds a frag. And now it's 2 versus 2. The defuse bomb is going to go down. The rotate is coming on in. They're both coming from very similar positions. Cressy still low. But still, 2 members of alternate attacks on this T side looking to try and pick up some frags. Alternate attacks just need the one here. They just need the one here. Arthur is good, yeah, sure. But if you win one, it makes your CT half nigh upon unlosable. Mighty Max going for that defuse. You need to spray it, Mirbit. Mirbit, you really need to go for this. Goes for the damage, but doesn't go for the kill. Big mistakes from alternate attacks, and that's happened a couple of times now. The ninjas really going on well. Mirbit. We've been shut up in these late rounds. Doing some good work, but losing out that round feels pretty bad. I'll certainly be feeling it. Cressy is going to push up on again. Slacks finally making the impact in the round that was necessary. It's real. Finds a frag on Cressy. Trying to keep things as even as they possibly can. The molly will force people on back. The rotate, the flank is there from Mighty Max. But he won't make any move or any sounds yet. It's going to be a rotate. It's likely from Endpoint. Sorry, from alternate attacks here. Endpoint. Have to be careful. He sees the foot. Mighty Max has to back on off. The molly will keep them pinned there for a little bit longer. The big flank is here from Mirbit. Finds Surreal, and this is so good. You could just go back to 8. It doesn't matter. The Mighty Max was able to deny your rotate. Alternate attacks with such a numbers advantage, especially here on this site. The shot is there from Crucial. Will he be able to find another? Trying to jump shot in. Does go down finally. The diffuser will get planted, and it's Mighty Max versus 2. Sorry, 3. Isn't long for this. Alternate attacks win the round with themselves 19-19. Third round of the CT side for Endpoint here on double overtime. Endpoint have to win this. They have to. Otherwise, alternate attacks only need to win that one round. Otherwise, it'll all be over. Maybe it takes a bit of damage. Mighty Max looking aggressively. Shows his feet, but the flash doing wonders for Mighty Max there. Itchy does so much work. Surreal finds 2. Endpoint with such a fantastic set of plays. Cressy will find the frag, but gets sprayed down. The rifles for Endpoint do so much work. And they do move themselves 20-19 as we swap sides. Endpoint in the advantage, but now it's CT side for attacks. If they don't drop around here, we're looking at a win for them. The end of the map. Overtime 2 right now, looking, to be fair, staring down the barrel of an overtime 3, honestly, with the way these teams have been playing back and forth and back. Massive plays on the whole. This is just, so. Not quite live yet. There we go, we're finally live. And now it's CT side for alternate attacks. York picked up for Slacks yet again. And I think if we see Slacks not go down here, this is going to be the really important one. Not get caught out early. Not die without making an impact. And Slacks will provide so much towards you. Endpoint looking for this boost yet again. Don't think there's anyone up there, so they won't find anyone, but they will at least get some information. response boost. Comes to no avail, but they still have a decent amount of time. 1 minute 30. I say that. Skrunk is jumping up there. Eats a face full of orb shot. Not quite a face, but definitely a body. As STFN also falls and alternate attacks his CT side. Looking pretty scruffy right now. Molly's come in. The rest of the utility follows. Skrunk will fall. 3 versus 5. Cressy goes down as well. Sure, Thomas falls, but it's 4 versus 2. Mirbit falls. Surreal doing such a good job right now. And Sax is not even going to try. Maybe? Okay, I say that. I thought he wasn't. Doesn't quite find the shot with Molly. Lead through about half of their health. Yeah. Ultimate attacks unable to win this one. Team Endpoint moving themselves up 21 to 19. Pick up a T-side round. Crucial. Finding some good shots, but... Sorry, crucial. Finding shots from Slacks. But Slacks will finally go. Alternate attacks. Down 2 rounds. Endpoint pick this one up. It will be a win for them on this map. Moving us to that third and final one of Vertigo. Ultimate attacks. They have been matching Endpoint's number. Both teams able to find at least a round on that T side this time. That could be the big decider. Whose T side is a little bit better? Robin finds an early frag onto Slacks. That's exactly what you need to see from Team Endpoint. Slacks overextended in Ilmana. Cressy finds a double kill though. That's so good for them and exactly what they needed. Pointing it down a player, but they're definitely not out. They just need to pick up 1 round. Cressy goes down, and now it's even Stevens. Golden puts on the smokes. Molly's are soon to follow. Skrunk and STFN. Really looking towards them to put up the big frag numbers here. PWP is in the hand of Skrunk. He finds Thomas. He's not able to go for that. In front of Optimus. Does go down. The HE finds the damage. But it's 2 versus 2. With Diffuser down. Sorry, bomb down. Endpoint. Be in a good situation. Auburn finds the spray. Mirbit goes down. It's STFN versus 2. It's definitely possible. It can be hard. Especially when that HE tells you exactly where this player is. STFN. Finds the frag 1, but frag 2. Almost impossible. They're going to go for that diffuse. But isn't quite going to be enough, I feel. aSEA will be able to find the frag. And that'll be Team Endpoint picking up map 2.